Silent Shadows. The Tale of a Native American Tomahawk Assassin. Toko was a skilled Native American tomahawk assassin, feared by many in his tribe and beyond. He had been trained from a young age in the art of stealth and tactical combat and had earned his place among the most elite warriors of his people. To many, he was a legend, a force of nature that struck fear into the hearts of his enemies. He had been hired by a neighboring tribe to take out one of their enemies, a chief who had been causing them trouble for years. Toko had accepted the job, knowing that it would be dangerous, but also knowing that he was more than capable of handling it. He set out before dawn, moving silently through the forest, his tomahawk strapped to his belt. He wore a deerskin tunic and leggings, moccasins that made no sound as he walked, and a feathered headdress that mocked him as a skilled warrior. As he approached the enemy's village, he saw that it was heavily guarded. But Toko was not deterred. He had a plan, and he knew how to execute it. He moved from shadow to shadow, his eyes scanning the surroundings for any sign of danger. He saw the sentries on the walls, their eyes dotting back and forth, looking for any intruders. He saw the fires burning in the center of the village, and he smelled the scent of roasting meat. But he did not allow himself to be distracted. He had a job to do. He crept closer to the wall, his fingers gripping the handles of his tomahawks. He waited until the sentry had his back turned, then he sprang, leaping up to grab the top of the wall with one hand, his other hand already drying his tomahawk. The sentry turned, but it was too late. Toko swung his tomahawk in a deadly arc, the blade slicing through the air and striking the sentry in the throat. The man gurgled and fell to the ground, clutching at his neck as blood poured out. Toko did not wait to see if anyone had heard. He dropped silently down to the ground and moved deeper into the village, his eyes scanning for his target. He soon found him, surrounded by his warriors, his back to the fire. Toko could see the man's face clearly, the lines of age and experience etched deep into his skin. He knew that this would be a difficult kill, but he was up for the challenge. He moved closer, his tomahawks held ready. The warriors around the chief did not see him. Their attention was focused on their leader. Toko saw his opportunity and struck. He swung his left tomahawk at one of the warriors, catching the man in the side of the head. The man fell without a sound, his body crumpling to the ground. The other warriors turned, drawing their weapons, but Toko was already moving, his right tomahawk swinging in a deadly arc that caught another warrior in the throat. The man fell, his eyes wide with shock. The chief turned, his eyes widening as he saw Toko. He drew his own weapon, a spear, and advanced, his face twisted in anger. But Toko was not afraid. He met the chief's charge head-on, his tomahawks flashing in the firelight. The two warriors clashed, their weapons ringing out in a deadly dance of death. Toko knew that he was the better fighter. He had trained for years, honing his skills, and he could see that the chief was slowing down, his movements becoming less precise. He saw his opening and struck. His tomahawk flashed out, striking the chief in the arm, causing him to drop his spear. Toko followed up with a swift strike to the man's chest, and the chief fell to the ground, gasping for breath. Toko stood over him, his tomahawk at the ready. The other warriors had fled, leaving their leader to face Toko alone. The chief looked up at Toko, fear in his eyes. "Why?" he asked. Toko hesitated for a moment, then spoke. "It is not for me to question why. I was hired to do a job, and I have done it." The chief nodded, and Toko struck, ending the man's life. Toko quickly gathered his things and vanished into the night. He was a skilled tomahawk assassin, feared by many. But he was also a man with a code, and he knew that he had fulfilled his duty.